Okay. So we are going to start this geography section with the book that is meant for class 6th, that is The Earth, Our Habitat. The name of your book is The Earth, Our Habitat. Okay. Can you give me some idea what is habitat? Hmm. 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 Uh, hmm. And don't worry, you should feel comfortable. You can explain me even in some parts in Hindi, English, mixed or English, whatever, but don't feel worried. You just have to explain the idea, whatever is in your mind, huh? Don't worry. Okay, okay, okay. So basically, if in one or two sentence someone asks you what is a habitat, so how do you explain it? Mm. Mm. Okay, no, you are slightly mixing it. The habitat, if someone asks you in one sentence, explain me habitat. Habitat is the natural residence of any organism. Okay, it is the natural residence or living place or abode, whatever we call it. So it is the natural living place of an organism. Okay, it is, yes. If more you want to say, you can say that yes, it performs different functions and is regular activities of his life in that part or in that area. Okay, so I guess you have a proper idea of habitat. Now, the name of the book that I told you is The Earth, Our Habitat. The Earth, Our Habitat. That means that we are talking about us, the human beings, and we as an organism. So, our habitat is what? The Earth. Okay, so Earth is our habitat. So we will be studying how this earth is our habitat and what functions we perform on this earth as a living organism, as a living being, and what activities we perform on this earth, and different aspects of this habitat. Habitat is a scientific word for home. Basically, it is a scientific biological word for home. So as you are living in your home and you live there, you get your food there, okay, you sleep, you get your rest there, okay, you get your entertainment there. So currently your home, the house that you are living, that is your habitat. So in the similar way, this earth is the habitat for the all the human beings. Yes, all men, all humans. So in that aspect, we will be studying about the earth. Okay, we will be studying different features of the earth and how it acts as a habitat for the human beings. Okay, so now this book, this starts with the first chapter, and that is that the first chapter is the earth in the solar system. So what is a solar system? Hmm. Okay, okay, you have some idea. So the chapter is the earth in the solar system. Okay, so as we have studied earlier, you might have studied that a system, a group of, or a system of some planets and some other celestial bodies which are grouped around some star, which is the center of that system, we call it a solar system. Actually we call it a but we call our system as the solar system based on the sun. Okay, the sun, the 9 planets around it, and some other different bodies, asteroids and whatever. So this system we call it as the solar system, and our planet Earth is a part, it is a planet of that solar system. So first, that means as you might be seeing on your screen, that there is a picture of the solar system in which we can see the in the center there is a sun, and around it in different orbits we can see different planets, and in that we can see a near planet our Earth. We can see our planet Earth, which is green in color. Can you see it? Yes. Okay. So now see, let us go through the chapter. How wonderful it is to watch the sky after sunset. Okay, how wonderful it is to watch the sky after sunset. So when the sun sets, it gets dark, and when we look at the sky, we see different bright objects in the sky. You must have noticed it. Now, one would first notice one or two bright dots shining in the sky. So, see, it is going very systematically that as the sun sets and it begins to get dark, the sky gets dark. So, we begin to notice, first, we begin to notice only one or two bright dots. Not all the dots, all the stars and planets are visible at once. As it gets darker and darker, more and more bright dots are visible in the sky. So it is a graded process. That means as it gets more dark, we are able to see more, yes, more objects in the sky. And again, when it becomes the darkness reduces, that means when the light comes, then the number of the visible dots again reduces. So one would first notice one or two bright dots shining in the sky. Soon you would see the number increasing. You cannot count them anymore. So after some time there are so many dots that you cannot count them. There are too many dots in the sky. The whole sky is filled with tiny shining objects. Some are bright, others dim. So now when we see, now suppose it is a dark night and we are seeing so many bright spots in the sky. Now in those there are some which are more bright and some are less bright or dim, that you must have noticed. So we can clearly understand that the different dots or objects in the sky at night, they are having some difference because some are brighter and some are less bright or dim. It seems as if the sky is studded with diamonds. So it is so bright and sparkling, the sky is sparkling with dots, it looks like there are diamonds in the sky. They all appear to be twinkling. Now, they appear to be twinkling. What is twinkling? Twinkling is like when the light goes on and off, on and off, on and off, like that. There is a that is called twinkling, है ना? So when we are looking at the bright objects in the sky at night, now some of them they appear to be constantly bright, okay, but many of them they appear like twinkling, that their light is for very few moment it is like getting lesser and then again bright, light less high, like that. So that creates a twinkling effect. So here they are seeing that they all appear to be twinkling. It is a special feature that is twinkling. But if you look at them carefully, you will notice that some of them do not twinkle as others do. I already told you. They simply glow without any flicker, just as the moon shines. Now those which are constant in their light, which are not flickering, which are not twinkling, their light is constant like moon. Does the moon twinkle? No, it doesn't twinkle. Its light is constant. But stars appear to twinkle. And that is how we in our basic understanding of geography, we understand that those dots in the sky which twinkle, they are stars, and those which are not twinkling, they are planets. I believe that is your understanding. How do you differentiate planets and stars? Don't remember. Uh-huh. See, these objects that we look in the sky at night, so those which twinkle, we call them stars. And those who do not twinkle, whose light is fixed, they are the planets. Okay? Can you remember? Just like the moon, but moon is not a planet. That is another case. Yes, it's a satellite, that is natural satellite. Now, so here we have studied that some objects in the sky, they appear to twinkle, while others their light is fixed. Now, along with these bright objects, you may also see the moon on most of the days. Now, in the night sky, when we see the bright objects, and also we see on most of the days the moon is also visible. It may, however, appear at different times, in different shapes, and at different positions. Now we are studying a little about moon. So first thing, that moon is visible almost on most of the days, and second, that in different days its shapes changes and its positions also changes. Now position changes means that at the same time, suppose you take the time at 9 p.m. If at 9 p.m. or 9 o'clock at night you look at every day, you will find that as the days change, the place of moon will change. At 9 p.m. it will not be at the same place every night at 9 p.m. at the same place. So that means that in a month, or as days go by, the place, the position of moon and the shape of moon also changes progressively. Okay, so that is another feature of moon, that it appears at different times, in different shapes, and at different positions. You can see the full moon only once in about a month's time. Now see, whatever we are talking till now, okay, whatever in the chapter, the lines, we must remember every line for the civil service. Okay, you have to memorize every line of this, whatever study material we'll be studying, because from any of these lines the questions may be asked in the PT exam or in the interview also. Yes, so we have to be very careful while we are going through this study material, that will consist of some NCRTs and some other books. You have to memorize each and every line, every sentence. Did you get that? Yes. So make it very clear in your mind that you have to understand each and every line, every sentence, and you have to memorize each and every sentence. So I will be gradually, I will be training the method how to study, so that you are able to memorize every line, and also you have to understand every line. Yes. Now, so now the next fact that they have told us, that we can see the full moon only once in a month's time. About, that means it is 28 days actually. So, hello, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Yes, Aditi. So we can see the full moon only once in a month's time. Okay, in a month, the full moon appears only once, and that is called the full moon night, Purnima. It is a full moon night or Purnima. Now, what is Purnima? Purnima is in a Sanskrit. Purn means complete, full. And Ma जो है Ma Purnima. Ma is for, it is a part of a word that is that denotes light. Okay, the glow. So when there is full glow, that is Purnima. Okay, so in Sanskrit it is Purnima, and in English we call it full moon night. A fortnight later. Now what is a fortnight? Fortnight is 14 nights. Okay, 14 nights, in short it is called fortnight. So a fortnight later you cannot see it at all. Means after full moon, and when the 14 nights have passed, we are not able to see the moon. Means there is no moon in the sky. It is completely dark. It is a new moon night or Amavasya. So in English we call it a new moon night, and actually there is another geographical term we will come to know later. But now in a simple way we call it new moon night or Amavasya. Okay, Amavasya is also a Sanskrit word which means there is no lack of moon. Okay, no moon. So we call it Amavasya. Amavas is the word is means there is lack of light, there is no glow. So in Sanskrit we call it Amavasya. So there is a gap of 14 nights between a Purnima Amavasya. On this day you can watch the night sky best, provided it is a clear night. So now why they are saying that on this day you can watch the night sky best? Yes, very good. So because the brightness, the glow of the moon, it reduces the glow of the other, means the comparative, the look, the vision. It doesn't reduce, but actually it makes us, our vision reduced. Okay, so we cannot see some less bright stars or objects in the sky. So when there is no moon, then on that night, and if it is clear night, that means there is no cloud or there is no dust or mist, whatever. So then that is the best night to watch the watch the sky for different stars and the different planets and other bodies. So if someone asks you which is the best night to see the night sky, so what you will see, that is the new moon night, yes, or Amavasya. Now, do you wonder why can't we see the moon and all those bright tiny objects during daytime? Now, it raises a question that why can't we see the moon and other bright objects during daytime? Can you tell me? Yes. Yes. Because of the sun. But there is moonlight also at night. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. That is okay. Sunlight is there. But similarly at the moon also there is moonlight. So but we are able to see some of many of them, but at daytime we are not able to see any of them. Yes, the brightness of the sun's light is very, very high compared to the brightness of the moonlight. So that is what it makes the comparative brightness of other bodies, that is the stars, planets and moon, etc. It is comparatively reduced to zero, and we are not able to notice, although they are present, although they are present in the sky all the time, but we are not able, because our eyes, its receiving capacity is reduced because of the bright sunlight. See, you must have noticed that if you are suddenly sleeping and or you are staying in some dark place and suddenly you are exposed to the sun, bright sunlight, you are not even able to open your eyes. Hmm? Your eyes get closed, and for some time you are not able to open your eyes, but gradually then your eyes adjust, and you are then slowly you are able to open your eyes. So there is a mechanism in your eyes that controls the brightness that can enter our eyes. So accordingly, if we are staying in outside sun in the daytime and suddenly we go into a dark room, we are not able to see anything. And for some moment it feels like we have gone blind. And then after some moments, gradually our vision comes and we are able to detect some things in the dark, and then we are also able to look some things in the even in the less light or dark. So that is the mechanism of our eye, and that is what prevents us from noticing the different objects in the sky besides sun at daytime, but we are able to look at them in the night. So it is the brightness, comparative brightness of different objects that makes us notice them. Okay. Suppose at daytime there is, see, even at daytime you must have noticed sometimes that some rocket launches or something are going on in the sky. Some there are some like jets are moving, and they leave a trail behind them. Hmm? Trail of smoke and all, it looks very bright, and we are able to see that even in daytime. So because its brightness is more compared to the sunlight, so we are able to clearly see a trail of it looks like it is gases or something warm coming from behind the jets or rockets, whatever moving in the sky. So it's all about the comparative brightness of the objects. So during daytime, we are not able to see the moon and other bright objects because their brightness of their light is very less compared to the brightness of the sun. And that is what they have written in the next lines. It is because the very bright light of the sun does not allow us to see all these bright objects of the night sky. So here comes the explanation, that is, because of the brightness of the sun, which is very high, it does not allow us to see other objects which have lesser brightness. Now, the sun, the moon, and all those objects shining in the night sky are called celestial bodies. You already know it, that any bodies that we, anything that we see in the sky, they are, which are shining, they are called as celestial bodies. It is a ancient term. Celestial, actually celesti, celeste. Celesti is an ancient Greek word for sky. Okay, so celesti means sky. So whatever it is in sky, we call it celestial. So that is, we call it celestial bodies. It is an ancient usage. Now, some celestial bodies are very big and hot. Now, see, first, if we again review whatever we have studied, first we studied about the night sky, what we are able to see and what is their nature, the light, that is, some bodies or some objects in the night sky, they twinkle, while others their light is fixed. Now we studied about a little about moon, the full moon and new moon, Purnima, Amavasya, and it has different shapes and different positions. Now we have studied a little about their the daytime, the brightness. Now we are studying about the different celestial bodies. We will be studying about these bodies now. See, some celestial bodies are very big and hot. Now, big and hot, when they are saying, we cannot see that big and we cannot sense how hot they are. It is from the scientific studies that they have determined that they are very big. Okay, like the sun which appears like just a small football to us. So we cannot call it very big. It just appears at the size of a football. So, but scientifically we found out that they are actually very very huge, much much larger than even our earth. Okay, anyway, and similarly they are very hot. See, we are only feeling the hotness as 40 degree, maximum 50 degree on the earth. That is what the temperature we are feeling. But what is the temperature of the sun? Have you any idea? No idea. See, the outer surface of the sun, it is about 6000 degrees Celsius hot, the outer surface. But the inner surface of the sun, inner core, it is about millions of degrees Celsius. Millions. Okay. So, okay, we will study that in later detail. But right now, some celestial bodies are very big and hot. It is like a fireball. That is why they are emitting this light and heat. They are made up of gases. Okay, we know that, we have found out that they are made up of gases. And another logic is that at such a high temperature, there is nothing known to us which can exist in solid or liquid form. Okay, means I just now I told you the surface temperature of sun is about 6000 degrees Celsius. Outer surface, that means the only the outer part. So we don't have anything in earth that can withstand such high temperatures. After 4000 degrees Celsius, most of the things, almost everything will melt. So definitely the sun or the other celestial bodies which are very hot, they are made up of gases. Even gases are not able to exist. We will study later that gases also disintegrate into some special form. We will come to know later. That is called plasma state. So that is the fourth state of matter. In the basic studies, we understand there are only three states of matter, that is solid, liquid, and gases. Then we will study some more states of matter, that is the plasma state is the fourth. Okay, they have their own heat and light which they emit in large amounts. Now you must have seen a radiant heater that we use in the winters. When we switch on the heater, the simple heater, so it begins to get hot and it takes the color, reddish color, and it becomes more and more, but there is not much brightness depending on the type of heater. There are different, now there are radiant heaters, that means there is reflector and they emit light, so they are more bright. But the earlier heaters that had simple a nichrome coil wound around some part, so they used to be only little bright red, not much bright, and they begin giving out heat. Okay, so that is the way everything heats up. When we heat some stove or when we used to burn coal, so first it catches fire and then gradually it becomes hot and it becomes reddish in color and it begins emitting heat. Similar is the case with the heaters. So everything, when it is heated, so it begins to emit heat and light. That we understand from science. So here also the celestial bodies which are very big and hot, they are made up of gases and they have their own heat and light which they emit in large amounts. Now they have their own heat. What does it mean? They have their own heat means that they have, yes, still. Hmm. 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 That is why they are hot. But it says that they have their own heat and light. What does it mean? Hmm. Hmm. No, planets need the light to shine. Planets don't have their own light. you have not revised it recently. Planets need the other bodies' lights. Planets don't have their own light. Only stars have their own light. Okay. So that is what they are trying to explain it. Later, see next line they have written that these celestial bodies are called stars. Means those celestial bodies which have their own heat and own light, they are called as stars. This is the way we study geography and astrology or whatever, that those bodies which have their own light, they own light and own heat, they are called as stars. And other bodies which shine from other stars lights like our planet or moon or whatever, so they are called planets and satellites whatever. So what I am asking is that what does it mean that they have their own heat and light? Can you explain it in simple terms? You okay? See, okay. See, now suppose you go to the kitchen, you go to your kitchen, you turn on the stove and you put on a pan full of water, or you just put on a pan. Now what you notice that after some time the pan becomes very hot, and when you touch it you feel it very hot, your hands may burn. If you still keep the stove on, the pan may become red hot and very hot to touch, and then it becomes a little bright also. You might have not seen that stage, but if by mistake you leave the stove open and some put the stove some pan or something cooking, it becomes very hot, and it becomes also, it starts radiating light when it becomes red hot. Now as soon as you turn off the stove, what you notice that the pan starts getting cold, and after some time it becomes totally cold. Its color changes to normal from red, and there is no brightness in that, the bright, and there is no heat also. So that means that the pan, it did not have its own heat and its own light, it that it was getting from the stove. Okay, and as we cut off the stove, the heat and light gradually vanished. But if we had kept the stove on, it must have remained hot and it must have remained bright. So that means that the pan did not have its own heat and light. Okay, it means that the source of heat and light is the source its own, or is it getting the heat and light from some other source? Yeah. So the pan, it was getting the heat and correspondingly the light from the stove, and the stove also, it is burning the fuel, the LPG or induction, whatever it is. So that is the source of the heat and light. Now when we are coming to the celestial bodies, they are big and hot. That means there must be some source of heat and therefore light. So you don't know what is the source of the heat of the stars. Do you know? No. Why are stars hot? You don't know. Okay. So, okay, we will I'll tell you in one line that there are different chemical reactions or nuclear reactions going inside the stars, and they are the source of the heat. In those reactions, a lot of heat is released, and that keeps the star at very high temperatures. Okay, so the stars, they are made up of gases, and those gases, they are undergoing some chemical reactions or nuclear reactions, and in those reactions it is like constant explosion is going on inside them. Thousands of bombs are exploding inside the stars, and that bombs are actually the nuclear reactions. Even a bomb, it is a nuclear reaction, you must have studied. a nuclear bomb, an atom bomb, or some whatever. It is a nuclear reaction basically. So these nuclear reactions are actually the source of the heat. Extremely high energy is released in those reactions, and that keeps the stars very, very hot and bright. So that means the stars have their own source of heat and light. They are not getting it from some other thing, some other body. They have their own, means there is a stove inside them, a nuclear stove, and that is keeping them hot and bright. So that is why we have written here that they have their own heat and light, and which they emit in large amounts. Naturally, you know that something, if it is hot, then it releases heat. If you go near it, you will feel the heat of that. And if it is very hot, you can also feel the brightness of that. So they emit this heat and light in large amounts, and these celestial bodies are called stars. So understood what is a star? A star is a large celestial body which is very big and hot and has its own source of heat and light. The sun is a star, and similarly our sun, it is also in the group of stars. That means it is one of the star. Why? Because it has its own source of heat and light, and it emits that heat and light which we receive. और इसलिए हम सुबह सुबह सूर्य नमस्कार करते हैं, प्रणाम करते हैं सूर्य देवता को कि हे सूर्य देवता, आप इसी तरह हम पर अपनी ऊर्जा, अपनी एनर्जी बरसाते रहें, बिकॉज दैट एनर्जी that we get in the form of sunlight, that is the source, that is the reason of life existing on this. That is the source of all the living activities, all the life, that is because of the sunlight. If there was no sunlight, there would be no source of energy and there would be no life possible. So इसलिए हम रोज सुबह सूर्य देवता को नमस्कार करते हैं कि आप ही हमारे जीवन का, इस पूरे संसार के जीवन के कारण हैं. Everything it is because of you. So you can understand why we worship the sun as a god. Okay. The sun is a star. That means it is a celestial body which has its own source of heat and light, and which emits a lot of heat and light that we feel. And at noon it is very difficult to bear the heat of the sun, and we go in the shade, we move inside the house or some shadow, so that we do not feel it is too much heat. So you can understand. And do you know how far the sun is? Huh? Light year, you can explain it in some simple kilometers or miles. See, it is approximately 15 crore kilometers. Yes, yes. So approximately it is 15 crore kilometers. So you can just imagine how far it is, 15 crore kilometers. And from that distance, it is giving out so much heat. Still at Earth, we are not able to bear it at the noon. So you can just imagine how much heat it must be giving out. And if we go any nearer, what will happen to us? So it is emitting too much heat and also light. See, from 15 crore kilometers, we are still able to see the sun so bright that we cannot, if it is in the daytime, we are not able to look directly in the sun. We have to, our eyes starts blinking because the brightness is too much for our eyes. So just imagine from 15 crore kilometers. Okay, it take now, how much time does the sunlight take to reach our eyes from sun? Do you know? No, no, no. See, it takes 8.5 minutes for light to travel from sun to our earth. 8.5 minutes, not within a milliseconds. 8.5 minutes. That is how this calculation. You know what is the speed of light? We call it. Hmm. Yes, 3 to 10 to power 8. What is the unit? No, the unit, right? You speed, you express speed in kilometer per hour and meters per. That is per second. Okay, that is 3 to 10 power 8 meters per second. Okay, that comes to 3 lakh kilometers per second. Per second. That means the sunlight, it travels 3 lakh kilometers in just 1 second. In 1 second, it travels 3 lakh kilometers. What is the distance of the moon from Earth? The distance of the moon is 3 lakh 80, approximately it is 3 lakh 84,000 kilometers. Okay, approximately it is 3 lakh 85,000 kilometers, and the speed of the light is 3 lakh kilometers per second. So that means it just takes a little over 1 second for the light to reach from moon to earth. Okay, just 1 point something, 1.4 or 5, something like that. So approximately 1 second. In 1 second, the light reaches from moon to earth. But from sun, it takes 8.5 minutes. So 8.5 minutes, how many seconds are there? Hmm. So that means approximately 500. So that means that, just a minute. Class is going on. So it takes approximately 500 times more time for the light to reach from sun to earth than to moon to earth. That is what we have just now seen. So can you understand how far the sun is? It is 500 times more distant than the moon. So, but still, the size of the sun and moon, what is the relative size of sun and moon? They look almost equal. Yes, yes. So when we look at the sky, the size that appears to us, we see that almost they are equal. The sun and moon, they are almost of equal size. And moon is slightly smaller in appearance, but at full moon it becomes larger. But the distance between Earth and these two is very different. The moon, if we take that as a unit, so the sun is 500 times more distant than the distance between moon and earth. Now, so now what is, you mentioned something light year. Now what is a light year? The astronomical distances, the distances between different bodies in the space, there is a more convenient unit to express, because these distances are very very large. So if we talk in kilometers or miles, it becomes very difficult to talk because the figures become very large. So we take a more convenient unit, that is called light year. Now what is a light year? What is, how much distance is that? You don't know. See, the name itself says light year. That means the distance that light travels in an year. Okay. The distance that the light travels in an year, that is 365 days approximately. So that distance is called as a light year. Okay. So it is a convenient unit to measure the very large distance of the astronomical bodies. Okay, now you will remember it. Light year means the distance that light travels in a year, that is light year. Another unit is a parsec, but we will study it later, parsec. But okay, I have told you what is a light year right now. Next we are going that countless twinkling stars in the night sky are similar to the sun. Now, we just studied that the sun is a star, and a star is a celestial body which has its own source of heat and light. Now, there are countless stars in the night sky which are similar to the sun. That means they are also stars just like the sun is. But we do not feel their heat or light. Can you feel the heat of the stars? No. Can you see the light? Can you feel the light the way that you can see the light of the sun? No. It appears very very dim, and that is why in the daytime we are not able to notice them. We only notice the sun. So they are also stars just like the sun, but there we cannot feel their heat or light in the daytime, but in night time also we just feel their light, not the heat. And they look so tiny because in the night time they just appear like some dots, very small dots. Now why do they, are they very small compared to the sun? Yes, yes. So they are actually quite much bigger than the sun, but they appear very tiny, like just a speck of dust, एक धूल के कण की तरह, या एक just like a small dot in the sky, because they are very very far from us. Now I will just give you an idea. I have just told you that the sun, the light takes 8.5 minutes to reach from the sun to the earth. Okay. Now you said earlier that, sir, it might be a few milliseconds, because you just open your eyes and you can see the sun. But actually when you open your eyes and see the sun, that image of the sun that has traveled 8.5 minutes before. So suppose at 10 o'clock you have opened your eyes and you see the sun, but that view of the sun, it is of 8.5 minutes before, and at this moment whatever the image of the sun is, it will reach you after 8.5 minutes. So yes, understood. So the sun, it is 8.5 minutes away, you can say, in terms of light speed, it is 8.5 minutes away from us, the sun. The nearest star after sun, Proxima Centauri, not Century, Proxima Centauri. Centaur is a word, it is a Greek word, it means a bull. So its name is Proxima Centauri. It is misspelled and mistaught by many teachers as century. It is Centauri, The spelling is Centauri. Yes. How much time does the light take to come from that star to us? Do you know? See, I'll tell you. The nearest star, see, sun is the nearest star to us. That is why we are called solar system. The next star that you told right now that it is Proxima Centauri, the light from there comes to Earth in 4.3 years. 4.3 years. That means if you see that star right now, that form must be 4.5 years something back. So just imagine how far it is. It is just 500 seconds for sun. For that it is 4 years, 4.3, and you calculate how many thousands of, that is the maybe some lakhs or more seconds. So it is very very far, and that is why it appears very small, and its heat also, we are not able to feel the heat because it is too far. So the light, it takes more than 4 years, whereas the light from the sun, it just takes 8.5 minutes, and from the moon just more than second. So you can get the comparative idea, okay, how far the different these are, the Proxima Centauri, the sun, the moon. Okay, now coming to the next page, we can see there is a girl just like you, and she is looking at the night sky in the picture. Now, you must have noticed that all objects look smaller when seen from a distance. Or, of course, you must have noticed that when we look from far, the objects look smaller, and as the distance increases, the size of the appearance of that object also reduces, decreases. Like you see a train or an aeroplane moving away, or a bus moving away, it gradually appears smaller and smaller, and after some time it becomes so small that you are not able to notice it. It almost disappears. Now, how small an aeroplane looks when it is flying at a great height. Now, aeroplane, when we look at the sky and some aeroplane is passing over us. Now, what is the general height at which the aeroplanes fly? Do you have an idea? No. Okay. The domestic flights which are operating inside the different cities of a country, they generally fly at about a height of around 1 to 3 kilometers. Okay, maybe at a height of 1 kilometer or 2 or 3 kilometers. The international flights or long distance flights, okay, they fly at around 7 to 10 kilometers. Okay, so whatever you see, the aeroplanes or jets, they are just flying at a height of 1 to 10 kilometers. Okay, that is the range. Now, you must have seen how small the planes or jets appear when they are high in the sky, and how big they become when they are just about to land or take off. So it might give you an idea that how fast the size of the objects reduce when they increase in height. So you can just imagine how big the stars must be if they are billions of kilometers away. And not billions, not only billions, means the sun, the nearest it is 15 crore, that is 1.5 billion kilometers. And the Proxima Centauri, it is hundreds times more, maybe thousands times. Okay, if you get the So it is very very big but very far. Okay. Now, while watching the night sky, you may notice various patterns formed by different groups of stars. Now, have you observed the night sky carefully anytime? Yes. Have you noticed any patterns or whatever you have studied? Have you seen those patterns in the sky? Have you noticed them? It, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So now what happened that in ancient times, the ancient people, when they looked at sky, so it seemed to them, they were very curious. What is there in the sky that is shining? They didn't have any idea. So even even up to this time, many people say that when people die, they go and become a star at the night. Okay. So such was their beliefs in ancient times, and sometimes they used to notice some figure in the sky. It appeared that there was some figure in the sky, like suppose the people, they were fond of bears. They had the bears had a special significance for them, and suddenly they are looking at the sky and they say, oh, there is a bear in the sky. Okay, the shape is like a bear. So, though such groups of objects or stars, as we later called them, which had some recognizable shape, so they were of some special importance to the people. The people looked at them with attraction. Oh, there is a bear in the sky. Oh, there is a hunter in the sky. There is a horse in the sky, like that. So, these groups of stars, we gave it a name of constellations. Okay. So, here it is written that while watching the night sky, you may notice various patterns formed by different groups of stars. These are called constellations. Now, what are constellations? Constellations are a group of stars in the night sky with some recognizable shape. Okay. Now, when we were studying at the school, our teacher, they took us at night sky. They took and they showed us the different constellations. They made us to identify and learn, and it became our favorite pastime in the night to identify the different stars, the constellations, and the planets, and many more things. Even there was a telescope in our school also, and we used to look at some of things. Anyway, so that means these constellations, what are these? They have some special shape. The group of stars having some special shape, we gave them a special term, that is constellation. Okay. Now, why do we give such importance to these constellations? Because, acha, we will come to that later. Just wait. Constellations. Now, Ursa Major or Big Bear is one such constellation. Okay, in the Greek we call it Ursa Major. In the Greek, Ursa word means bear. Okay, so it resembled the shape of a bear, a standing bear. So we call it Big Bear because there were actually two bears. Okay, we can see two bears in the night sky. So the larger bear, we called it the Big Bear or Ursa Major. Okay, so that is a very clearly identifiable constellation in the night sky. Now, one of the most easily recognizable constellation is the Saptarishi, Rishi sages. Okay, there is another constellation that we in our Hindu culture we have given it the name of Saptarishi. Now Saptarishi means seven, Sapt means seven and Rishi sages, saints. Actually, there were some very prominent saints in our Hindu mythology, like Rishi Vasishtha. Okay, they were called Saptarishi. They had seven very special, very means knowledgeable saints. Okay, so they were given a special term, and they are believed to live in heaven. They are believed to live in heaven, and that is why in Hindu mythology we say that they are there in the sky. They are always present besides the gods. So we call them the Saptarishi. So that constellation, it consists of seven stars. Okay, and in those seven stars, this big bear is a part of them. Okay, big bear. So in the diagram you can see the girl is watching, and there are some stars sparkling. That there is an arrow that is going straight to a very bright star that we call as North Star. Okay, it is in the north direction. So, and there is a group of seven stars just above her. Okay, can you see? This is the constellation that we call as the Saptarishi. Yes, and the last two stars which are coming in line with the North Star. So this is the way to identify. Okay, we were taught this by our teachers in the school. So if you locate the North Star or this, we can locate each other and many other stars from this. Okay. So anyway, this is the Saptarishi. There are, you can see clearly, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. 7 stars, and in this we, okay, if you can see in this picture, if you see these 7 stars, and there are some smaller bright objects in a curve over it. Okay, just you can see a curve like some, okay, stars. They are forming the head of the bear. Okay, it is the mouth of the bear is the last star that is away from the girl. That is the tip of the mouth of the bear. And the first star just above it, it is the one of the eye of the bear. And the next is the second eye, like that. Okay. So this is the, and then after that it is the neck and the body of the bear. So it appears like the mouth of a bear extending from its body, and the 7 stars, it is forming the neck and the first part of the hand, and above the curve that is forming the head and the back of the shoulder of the bear. So this is the Ursa Major or Big Bear. So the bears were, because the earlier people, they were very afraid of bears. The bear was a very, I should say, terrifying animal. The people were very terrified by that. It used to attack and kill people. So when they looked at sky, suddenly they recognized, oh, there is a bear, and they became very afraid of that. So it was like a warning that there is a bear in the sky. So it has acquired special importance over time, and it is very easily recognizable constellation. So it is, now you have to remember that the Saptarishi, it is a group of 7 stars. The Big Bear, it has many stars, I think 12 or 13 stars make up the body of the star. It is like a standing bear ready to attack. Okay, ready to attack, that position. Okay, it is a group of 7 stars that forms a part of Ursa Major constellation. So the 7 stars of Ursa Major, they form the Saptarishi according to our Hindu mythology. Now, ask someone elder in your family or neighborhood to show you more stars, planets, and constellations in the sky. Now, I will explain you a little more. This these constellations, these are what became the basis for the zodiac signs. Okay, they became the basis for the zodiac signs. Yes. So, how many zodiac signs are there? 12. So, what happened that people earlier, they did not have any method to mark the time or date. So, this nights, because in the daytime you are not able to notice anything. Okay, every day it is the sun rising, sun setting. So how can you identify, how can you differentiate one day from another? By every day when you wake up, the sun rises and it sets. So it feels like every day is the same. Okay, there is something that some days are hotter, some days are colder, like we can identify seasons, but not exact days. But at night, when people were watching, they used to notice different figures appearing in different times of the year. And thus they made a system of identifying the months. Okay, so whichever figure was visible, they associated that okay, in this time this figure was in this position. So they became the zodiac signs. So the zodiac signs are actually the different constellations that are visible. Okay, so suppose your zodiac sign is Sagittarius. That means when you were born, at that time in the night, the Sagittarius was visible. Okay, so thus the entire year is divided into 12 months, and those 12 months there are different 12 constellations have been identified. And thus the astrological calculus, ये जो पंचांग होते हैं एंड द राशि बनती है, ये राशि मकर राशि जो हिंदी में हमने नाम रखे हैं बहुत. So those zodiac signs are actually the constellations which are visible in the sky. And the astrology, the ज्योतिष, the जो ज्योतिष शास्त्र होता है, जो कुंडली और बहुत सारी चीज़ें बनती हैं, तो actually they mark the positions of the different planets and constellations in the sky. So that is a very exact way of marking some time, at what time you were born. And different studies were prepared from ancient times कि क्या अच्छा, मतलब कोई अच्छी घटना हुई, something good happened, then the night sky was observed कि okay, what is at the night this time. So those locations, those positions of those constellations, they used to be associated with good happenings. कि if there will be such position of constellation in the sky, something good will happen, because once when something good happened, it was in this position. Understood? So this is the how the astrology developed. तो ये जो हमारा ज्योतिष शास्त्र है, जो हम एस्ट्रोलॉजी है, वो ऐसे ही जब किसी बच्चे का जन्म होता है तो उस समय वो नोटिस करते हैं कि आकाश में अलग अलग तारों की, ग्रहों की और ये कॉन्स्टलेशंस की क्या पोजीशन है, और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली वो उसके जो है वो प्रिडिक्ट करते हैं कि इसके लाइफ में क्या होगा, ये क्या करेगा, किस तरह से इसका. क्योंकि पहले जो थे राजा महाराजा या बहुत से बड़े बड़े लोग, तरह तरह के डिस्टिंग्विश्ड पीपल, ड्यूरिंग देयर लाइफ दीज थिंग्स वर ऑब्जर्व्ड कि when such a great person was born, what was the position of the different planets and the constellations in the sky. So those positions were identified कि जब ऐसा आएगा तो कोई बहुत ही अच्छे आदमी का जन्म होगा. ठीक है, समझ गए? तो in this way the astrology, the study of astrology developed. So people used to identify time by these positions of the different celestial bodies in the sky. The position or the phase of the moon, the shape of the moon, the position of the sun in the day, the position of different stars, the different constellations. Okay, that became the basis for astrology. So now you have understood what is zodiac sign, how our zodiac sign is determined, what is its importance. Like there is prediction. You must be horoscope, daily horoscope, monthly and annual horoscope कि हाँ ये महीना आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा होगा, इस महीने आप सक्सेसफुल होंगे, या आज आपके काम बन जाएंगे, ऐसे चलता है। देख रहे हैं पूरा टीवी चैनल्स पर वो आते हैं, बैठ के प्रिडिक्शन करते रहते हैं पंडित जी लोग. So that is based on these observations of the past. Okay, these constellations, the stars and planets. So this is the importance of the constellations. Got it? Okay. Now, in ancient times, people used to determine directions during the night with the help of stars. Now, जैसे ancient times में, in the past, there was no scientific things, no scientific tools available. So how the people used to determine the direction, the way they are moving? Suppose they were moving in the sea, or they are moving in the land itself. तो जैसे आज भी देखिए क्या कहते हैं हमारे पिताजी लोग, और जो हमारे हमसे पुरानी पीढ़ी के लोग हैं, बोल देते हैं पश्चिम की तरफ चले जाना. अब हम सोचने लगते हैं कि पश्चिम किधर है, ठीक है ना, बिकॉज नाउ वी आर मोर टू द नॉर्थ, साउथ, ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट. ओके, और लेफ्ट एंड राइट. अब वो कह देते हैं वहां से दक्षिण में है. अब दक्षिण में है तो अब दक्षिण किधर है भाई? यहाँ अब हम कहीं सडनली चले जाए, अब अपने जगह का तो ध्यान रहता है कि हम जहाँ रह रहे हैं, अच्छा इस डायरेक्शन में हमारे उत्तर है, इधर दक्षिण है, इधर पूरा पश्चिम. बट इफ वी आर मूविंग टू सम न्यू प्लेस, देन हाउ वी नो वेयर इज द नॉर्थ, वेयर इज साउथ, लाइक दैट. So similarly, in the ancient times, when people had to determine directions, they used to take the help of the sun. We know that sun every day it rises from one direction and sets in other direction. So we have called it the east and west, and similarly the north and south. बट अगर आप कहीं जा रहे हैं और जंगल में हैं दोपहर में, तो आप कैसे समझे कहाँ से उगा था और कहाँ डूबेगा? वो तो उतना देर तब रुकिएगा, तब ना पता चलेगा कि उधर से उगा और उधर डूबेगा. सो तो लोग क्या कहते थे? सूरज के सामने सामने चलते जाना. इस तरह से कहते थे कि सूरज के या तो पीछे, जैसे सूरज है तो उसके उल्टे चलते जाना, है ना, सूरज हमेशा पीठ की तरफ रहे, या सूरज आगे आगे सूरज को देखते हुए चलते जाना, वहां पहुंच जाइएगा, या सूरज के बाएं रहते हुए चले जाइए, इस तरह से. सो द पीपल यूज टू डिटरमिन डायरेक्शंस with the help of sun during daytime. But what about night? In the night there was no sun. So in the night they used to determine the directions using these stars. Okay. So one of the important star in the night sky to determine the direction is the North Star, or we call it the pole star. Okay. The North Star indicates the north direction. Now the North Star, as you can see also, and if you have seen in the night sky, it is a very bright star, very very bright, almost the brightest. Okay, so we gave it the name North Star because, and we determined the direction as the north direction. So at night we can determine, okay, we see for the North Star and we determine, okay, that is the north direction, and accordingly we determine our way where we have to go. So it is also called the pole star. Why it is called the pole star? It appears constantly over the poles. Its position never changes. Okay, its position never changes throughout the year. Now, what happened when people in ancient times they used to observe the sky, they noticed that the position of almost every object in the sky changes in the year. Okay, in the January they might be appearing in some other place. In the February they might be appearing. Their position is constantly changing. But there was one star which was always in one fixed position. So we gave it a special name, that was the North Star or Pole Star. Later, as we studied, we came to know about the poles of Earth. So it always appears just above the poles, and that is why we call it the North Star, because the pole is in the fixed direction, that is north. From any place, it is in the north. So we call it North Star or Pole Star. हिंदी में इसे कहते हैं ध्रुव तारा, ध्रुव तारा। और कहते हैं कि ध्रुव तारा एक हमारे हिंदू माइथोलॉजी में ध्रुव नाम के राजा हुए। वो उनके हमारे बचपन की कहानी है कि जो है एक राजा ध्रुव थे, ठीक है। एनीवे, सो ही वाज अ वेरी वेरी स्पेशल किंग, ध्रुव। और इसीलिए उनको हम कहते हैं कि he also became a star, just like some special gods and some rishis, saptarishis. He was so great that he became fixed in the sky, and even today we used to determine direction from that at night. And in Hindu mythology we call it Dhruv Tara. In the Christian, we call it the Pole Star or the North Star. It always remains in the same position in the sky. So if someone asks you, or it is asked to you in PT exam, that which of the following stars always keeps the same position throughout the year, so what will be the answer? The pole star. Yes, pole star or North Star. We can locate the position of the pole star with the help of the Saptarishi. Now, as the girl is seeing, the two last of the two, thus the means the you can see that it is like the four stars are forming a quadrilateral, and the three are like a stretched tail or something. If you see the seven stars, so these two which are in straight forming a quadrilateral. So if you see in line with them at 5 times the distance, 5 times the distance you extend the line, then you see a very bright star, that is the North Star. This is the way to identify. If you see at the night and you are able to locate these two stars, if you just go further in the same direction 5 times, you will get the North Star or Pole Star. That is the exact calculation, 5 times. So here they have written, look at figure 1.1. You will notice that if an imaginary line is drawn joining the pointer stars and extended further, it will point to the pole star. Okay, so you can see in the picture clearly how we can identify the pole star. So it might be asked in the PT, okay, in the form of statement. So you have to remember it is 5 times exactly the distance between these two stars. If if these the two locating stars, the two part of the Saptarishi, the distance between them, if it is extended 5 times of that, we will reach the North Star. Okay, and it is in the same direction. Okay, now some celestial bodies do not have their own heat and light. Okay, now we have talked about the stars. They have their own source of heat and light. We have studied a lot about them, the group of them which we call as constellations, and different everything we have studied. Now coming to another type of celestial bodies, that means the some celestial bodies do not have their own heat and light. They are lit by the light of the stars. Okay, they do not have their own heat and light, but how they are visible? They are visible because they reflect the light that is coming from the stars. Understood? They reflect the light that is coming on them from the stars, and that is why they are visible. See, everything around us. Suppose you are seeing some book in front of you. How are you able to look you are see that book? Yes, because of the light which is around you, which is impacting, which is incident on that book, and from there it is reflecting to your eyes. You are just, I think you are watching your laptop screen. How are you able to watch that? Yes, it has its own light which is coming out from that screen to your eyes and thus making it visible. So planets, they do not have their own light, but they are lit by the light of the stars around them. Such bodies are called planets. So we have given them the name as planets. The word planet comes from the Greek word planetai, which means wanderers. Okay, planetai in Greek means wanderers, यानी जो घूमते रहते हैं. So the planets, when earlier they were observed from the earth, the ancient people, they found that over the night their position is changing. The stars, they appear to be constant in their position. If you look through the night, suppose you go to your roof and start watching the sky from 7 p.m. up to 6 a.m. morning, you will notice that the stars, they are almost fixed in their position entire night. But the planets, their position, the position of the moon, the planets, that will change through the night. They will be moving from one direction to another. So that is why, since they are roaming, they are changing their position constantly. So they were called as the wanderers, or in the Greek planetai, and from that the term called planets. Understood? So they are the wanderers. The earth on which we live is a planet. Now it is a very simple fact for you. You have just studied it in a class that the earth is a planet. But it took thousands of years for the man to understand that earth is a planet. Very, very long time. And after Galileo, even after Copernicus, even Galileo was made to drink poison because he said that the earth is means the our solar system, it revolves around the sun. But the Christian religious beliefs were that our earth is the center of all the existence, which we later call it as the universe, or later we have found that this is the solar system, not the universe. So it was the religious belief that what we live on, this earth, this is the center and everything moves around us. So when Galileo said that no, it is the earth which moves, then he was made to drink poison, because he was saying something which was against the religious beliefs. But later Copernicus and other scientists, gradually they made people understand that no, the earth is rotating, it is not fixed. And actually if we look at just our solar system, then it is the sun which is constant and we are all moving around it. So it took thousands of years for the man to understand this fact. And you just studied in one class that the earth is a planet, the sun is a star. Anyway, so the earth on which we live is a planet. It gets all its heat and light from the sun, which is our nearest star. So we are able to see around us the different buildings, the animals, the people, because of the light that is coming from the sun, and we are getting the heat that is from the sun. So the earth, it is a planet. and it receives its heat and light from the a star, that is the sun. If we look at the earth from a great distance, say the moon, it will appear to be shining just as the moon. If we go to the moon and look at earth, it will appear like there is a bright object. As we see the moon, from the moon the earth will appear just like the moon. So yes, if we go to the moon or some other body, the earth will also appear to be like a shining bright object in the sky. You might have seen it in some movies or video or something. Now, the moon that we see, so we have studied about planet. Okay, what is planet? Planets, the word came from the word planetai, which means wanderers. That means its position is changing throughout the night. So we gave it a name as wanderers or planets. The planets, they do not have their own heat and light, but get the heat and light from some other star. Our earth is a planet, and it gets its heat and light from the star that is nearest to us, that is sun. Okay. Now coming to the moon, it is also of special importance to us. The moon that we see in the sky is a satellite. Now another term came as satellite. We realized, as our understanding, first we just knew that the sun, then later the moon, the stars and planets, then there was a large like moon. So we started studying about moon, and we gradually realized that it is not a planet. Earlier it was, in ancient times, it was believed to be a planet. But later, after Copernicus explained the revolution, the rotation of different bodies, the earth, the planets, different planets, the sun, that they revolve around in an orbit, then it was realized that the moon, it is revolving around the earth. So we gave such bodies which revolve around some planets, we gave it the name as satellites. Yes, so satellites are those celestial bodies which revolve around some planet. So similarly, the moon that we see in the sky is a satellite. It is a companion of our earth. That means a friend, a partner of our earth. That means just like our earth, the moon is nearby us, and it is just always near to us like a friend. It is a companion of our earth and moves around it. Like our earth, there are 7 other planets that get heat and light from the sun. So earlier we used to study that there were 9 planets, but one of the planet, that is Pluto, it has been removed from this list, and it is given the name as planetoid. Okay, so we will study it later. So in the current books that have come, we just give as 8 planets, earth and other 7 planets. Okay, so we will follow this. If someone asks you how many planets, there are 8 planets. So like our earth, there are 7 other planets that get heat and light from the sun. Some of them have their moons too. Means some of other planets also have some satellites which revolve around them, and we call it satellite, or in very simple way we call it the moons of planets. Okay, we have given the satellite the name as moon. So we say that the different planets, they also have moons, just like we have our moon, the earth. Okay, so okay, let us take a break. I think you must be tired. Yes, so shall we study more today, or after a break, or shall we keep it up to here only? Here only. Okay, okay, so this is enough for today. I will share you this video for this lecture. Okay, so you can just go through it, and again, if you want to listen to whatever I have discussed, you can go through that video. It will be available on YouTube, and you prepare the notes on whatever we have studied today. Okay, and as I have told you that each and every sentence is important. That is why I have explained you every word, every sentence. You have to memorize everything for the civils. Okay, and even you have to draw the diagram, like this diagram of this girl. So you can make it in a simple way, not a very beautiful diagram, but there must be a scientific, the stars, their position and everything. So you have to draw the diagrams, and whatever the words, the terms are there in the bold letters, so you have to make similar notes. Okay, and also the first, the page, there was the diagram of the solar system, that also you have to draw in a simple way. So but you have to keep the diagram, means it must be looking similar, not that it is going, something is very far, something is very, not like that. Okay, you will just make notes and revise, and then we'll again continue tomorrow. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. Okay, so how was it? Was it okay? Okay, okay then. Okay, Diti.